We're in Istanbul, Turkey.
The food culture here will blow your mind, and we're so excited to film a bunch of food videos in Istanbul. Istanbul is a city that stirs the imagination. Where East meets West, this city's diverse heritage is reflected in its incredible food culture. In this 5-part series, we're going to show you some delicious local Turkish food and eat where the locals eat. This is our first video of the series, and we're tucking into a spectacular Turkish breakfast, finding the cheesiest borek in town, visiting one of Istanbul's oldest pastry shops, and hunting down the city's favourite late-night snack, the durum. You don't want to miss this video. Get ready for some mouth-watering food.
I'm Thomas.
And I'm Sheena, and we're chasing a plate.
We hope you're hungry. Let's eat.
First stop is for a Turkish breakfast. Now, breakfast in Turkey is a really important meal, but we're going one step further. We have come to a restaurant, a family-run restaurant, which specializes in Kurdish breakfast from Van. And Van is in eastern Turkey, and they take breakfast really seriously there. You have to check out this amazing spread. It's gonna blow you away.
We've ordered the set menu with the full Van breakfast. So we've got 14 dishes on the table. Some of those have multiple foods on them. So we have got a huge spread and it looks incredible.
This is a Van style breakfast, and in Van, which is on the eastern side of Turkey, quite close to the Iranian border, they are really famous for their breakfast. They even have a whole breakfast street. And this style of eating is really common in Turkey. So you sort of just pick at all the different elements that are on the table. You've got a basket of bread to go with everything, and there are both savory and sweet elements to eat. So let me talk you through what we've got. So this here is strained yogurt with cucumber and dill. And then we've got some strawberry jam, 2 types of olives, a little dish of Nutella, some hard-boiled eggs. This here is tahini, which is sesame paste, and it's got some great molasses in it. We've got a puddle of beautiful looking honey. And to go with the honey, some kaymak, which is clotted cream. And then we've got a red pepper paste. And then this here is a Kurdish specialty. So Van is majority Kurdish. And this is murtuga, which is egg scrambled with flour and butter. This is another Kurdish specialty. It's called kavut, and it's fried wheat with honey and walnut. And then we've got the most beautiful looking fresh tomatoes and cucumber, and then a whole plate of different cheeses. So I think there's about 6 different cheeses. This one here in the front is called otlu peyniri, and it's a specialty cheese from Van. It's got some herbs in it. And then to go with it all, we've got a huge basket of bread, and to wash it all down, chai or tea.
Where do you start when a spread is this big? But for me, I've made my decision, and it's going to be this kaymak, so this cream, and look how creamy it is. So you can see it's been skimmed off the top, and it just spreads like a really thick butter. So we put some of that on the bread, and then with the cream perfectly goes the honey, so you get that beautiful rich cream. And then I'm going to load it up with this honeycomb, and you can still see all the big bits of honeycomb in there, and then the beautiful runny honey all around that. So we put a nice big dollop on here full of comb. Oh yes, this will be the perfect first bite. Oh man, wow, that is absolute heaven. That cream is so creamy, for lack of a better word. It's so smooth, it's super rich, and then the honey has a real natural taste, and the honeycomb's just a little bit sort of waxy, so you get a little bit of texture from that. Oh, that is the perfect way to start. And I love how this has got a whole lot of sweet and a whole lot of savory, so you can go all in on the sweets, or you can go all in on the savories, the salty things, or you can really mix it up.
I'm going to start with savoury first. So I've got some of this otlu peyniri, which is the specialty cheese from Van, and then this beautiful looking half tomato. I have not seen a tomato which is that brilliant in colour in a really long time. And then I've got some of this Kurdish bread, which is quite dense looking. So let's just give some of this a go. Alright, so I've got a little bit of that cheese. Oh gosh, get it on the fork. Alright, let's just get this big piece. Wow, it's really intense. It's very salty, quite sharp and crumbly, and that herb in there has a beautiful, almost garlic flavour. It's really good. Chase it up with the tomato. That just tastes like the most beautiful tomato you have ever eaten in your life. It bursts with flavour. It's insane. It's so good. I'm really interested in this kavut. So this is a Kurdish specialty. So it's fried wheat, honey and walnut. And I'm going to get a bit of that and put that on that bread. Alright. It's quite almost grainy in texture. It's a little bit sweet from the honey, almost sandy in texture, and that bread is beautiful. It's a little bit dense, almost doughy, and it's got a little bit of sweetness.
It's really hard to know what to film basically because there are so many combinations, so many options. We could go on all day about how good this is. So I picked one more little thing that I want to show you guys, and this is a pretty simple combo. We've just got egg, so the hard-boiled egg, but underneath I've got a whole lot of tahini, so that's sesame seed paste, and it's a beautiful sort of smoky, earthy flavour. And this tahini is really nice because it's not gritty, it's quite creamy, and it's not oily either. Sometimes with tahini it can separate, so you get a lot of oiliness, but this is all perfectly blended together, so it makes for a perfect combo with the creamy egg. Oh, that is good. Really, really good. It's kind of smoky and earthy tasting. Oh man, making up these combos is unreal.
The flavour and purity of everything on this table is just blowing my mind. This is like the best breakfast ever.
That is an absolutely spectacular breakfast. Now obviously we couldn't eat all of it on camera because it's just too much, so if you want to know anything about dishes we didn't taste on camera, pop a comment down below, we'll let you know all about it because we love chatting to you in the comments. Now we're off to find more food.
Woo!
Istanbul is an incredibly gorgeous city, and we're on the European side of the city. So it stretches across 2 continents. Over there is Asia, so our next stop is actually on the Asian side. So we're going to grab a ferry, shoot across the Bosphorus, and go to Asia for our next couple of snacks.
Ferries is one of the best ways to admire Istanbul's spectacular skyline, and we're doing what the locals do. We bought a simit, which is this bread ring which you'll see all over Istanbul. It's a really popular street food, and we are going to feed it to the seagulls. Neighbourhood of Kadıköy on the Asian side of Istanbul to hunt down a ridiculously cheesy looking pastry. Let's go. We are here to eat borek, and borek is like a collective term for a filled pastry, and you'll see borek shops all over Istanbul. It's a really popular food, and we've hunted down this one because it is ridiculously cheesy. So check it out. Look at all of that cheese just oozing out of the pastry. He had this ginormous pan and he was lifting the slices of borek out of the pan and the strings of cheese. There was so much cheesy ooze, it was insane. Now the borek is made out of pastry, and this pastry is called yufka. It's sort of like phyllo, but it's just a little bit thicker, and then it's just cheese, just loads and loads of cheese. So let's just get a square of this thing. Oh my gosh, I am so excited. Look at that. Oh my gosh. It's insane. Wow. That is so good. The yufka, the pastry, is really crispy and light, and they brush it with butter before they serve it, and then the cheese is insane. It's really creamy, quite mild, but it's just got a beautiful subtle flavour. It's a little bit salty, and it's just so oozy.
Next up, we're still on the Asian side and we're going to one of the oldest pastry shops in Istanbul. This has been around since 1923 and we're going to have a bit of a dessert here. Actually, we're going to have ice cream because it is incredibly hot today. This place is great. It's packed with locals and a bunch of old ladies actually tucking into an ice cream, and it's got a really old world feel. So dark wood, lino floors, and out the front there's stacks of cakes lined up, and they're really old school looking cakes. So nothing modern about this place. I really like the feel of it. And we have got our treat here. So this is their sort of house specialty, and it's called cup gruyere, which is an ice cream sundae, I guess. I mean, it's got a couple of types of ice cream in there. It's got their house-made caramel sauce, cream all around the top. That is some crushed up pistachio nuts, and this is a little biscuit called a cat's tongue biscuit. So let's get some pistachio on there, that beautiful green pistachio, a whole lot of cream, caramel sauce. Oh yeah. Oh, that caramel sauce. It's beautiful. It's really sweet, obviously, but it's got a little bit of a burnt taste going on as well. I'm gonna load some up on this biscuit. So let's dig right in. And I think I saw some sort of biscuit or something in the cup. I can't actually find it. I'm gonna have to dive in later and find that. Oh yeah, there we go. Oh, that goes really well with the sweet sauce. And the ice cream is kind of sticky. Like Turkish ice cream has mastic in it, which is a sap from the mastic tree, which gives it a real stringiness. Although this is not nearly as gummy or stretchy or sticky as I was expecting. Sometimes with Turkish ice cream it can be really gummy and almost doesn't melt, and when you bite it, it sort of bounces in your teeth. This isn't so much like that. It's got a slight texture like that, but it's actually more like traditional ice cream. I've dug right down and got some of this crumb that I said I'd spotted. So I have eaten some already, and I think it's like an almond brittle. It's got this beautiful nutty flavor, and then these super little crunchy crispy bits where all the brittle or the sugar is all caramelized. Oh, that mouthful was really good. That was really strong in the caramel, the caramelized sugar that's all through the brittle. This is delicious.
We're leaving Asia, we're heading back over the Bosphorus to Europe, and we're going to find our next street food. It's dinner time and we're starving. We've come to our local area to hunt down one of Istanbul's most popular street foods, and it's called a durum, which is a Turkish wrap. And the place that we're going to is right behind me. We've heard from so many locals that this is one of the best spots in Istanbul to grab a durum, so let's go.
Abi 2 tane çift lavaş HDP binası var ya. Ben daha mı iyi var? Demin gönderdim. Yol üstüymüş abi burası.
I've got my durum in my hand and it doesn't look like much, but this thing smells incredible. So inside is a kebab, and a kebab is any type of meat which is fashioned onto a skewer and then cooked over hot coals. And I've got an Adana kebab, so that's minced lamb that's been marinated and then fashioned onto that metal skewer and then cooked over the charcoal. And then inside is also, I can see some chopped tomato and onion, and I think there's been a sprinkling of sumac over the top. So sumac is a spice, and then it's all wrapped in this beautiful, really thin lavash, which is a type of flatbread. Holy moly! Honestly, it smells beautiful, really smoky. Holy moly! This durum is incredible. So the meat is very, very light. It's been spiced, so there's a little bit of heat in there, so like chili heat. It's got a beautiful savoury flavour and it's quite smoky from being over those hot coals. And then you've got the freshness from all of those vegetables in there. So there's red onion, there's parsley, and then there's some really juicy tomatoes. And then all of the veggies have been sprinkled with sumac, which I mentioned before. So sumac is a berry from the sumac plant, and the berry's just been dried and then ground up into a powder. It's used a lot here in Turkish cuisine. It's just been sprinkled over, and it has like a really tart, almost lemon-like flavour, so that just adds a bit of vibrant zing to that mouthful. Oh, this is so good. I gotta go for another bite. Oh my gosh, I can see why this is one of the most popular street foods here. It is such a great snack. On that lavash, that flatbread, it's very soft. It's just perfectly charred. The thing to drink when you're eating a durum is ayran, and this is like one of the go-to drinks here in Turkey besides chai or tea. And it's made up of yogurt, water, and a little bit of salt. So it's really, really refreshing in the heat. So good. It's really creamy. It's quite thin because it's been watered down with the water, and then it's got a really salty hit. It's really good. Besides being masters of the durum, these guys also do amazing grilled chicken wings. Now I am obsessed with chicken wings. They're one of my favorite things in the world, and these ones are just insane. So they have been cooked over the hot coals as well, so they were threaded onto a skewer and then cooked over the hot coals. You can see the beautiful charred bits of skin. They come with slices of the lavash, the bread, and then we've got some parsley, some sliced red onion, a pepper, a chili pepper, and that's all been sprinkled with a bunch of that sumac again. And then to go with it, there's a really vibrant looking salad. So parsley, some cucumber and tomato, some red cabbage too, and that has just been tossed in a pomegranate molasses and olive oil mixture. All right, let's go for one of these wings. Oh man, they are so good. The meat is really tender and they have a beautiful smoky flavour that is incredible. I really want to get a bite of this salad to go with it. It just looks so fresh and vibrant, and that's what we've found here. The food, or the fresh produce in Istanbul, is so fresh and it just tastes insane. Oh, you can really taste that pomegranate molasses. It's a little bit sweet, quite tart, and then that parsley is really fresh, has quite a strong flavour. This is such a cool local spot. And the street is really, really busy. We're sitting right on the street, which is perfect because it's summertime and it's really hot. And there are tons of people waiting for a table, so we're gonna get eating.
What a day of eating here in Istanbul. The food is incredible. Now remember, this is the first of a bunch of videos we're gonna film while we're here. So go down below, hit that subscribe button.
And give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Leave a comment down below, say hi. And if you want to support more Chasing a Plate content, check out our Patreon page. Gule gule. We'll see you next time.